and welcome once again to Voice of the Coast. We have B.E.A.R.S in the studio today. B.E.A.R.S in this case being Bayou Emergency Amateur Radio Service. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Mike Galler is the secretary of the organization, and to shorten it up, we're talking about ham radio and or amateur radio, shortwave radio. Does that
amateur radio will be fine?
That'll fix it up.
Yeah.
But in the days of cell phone, a lot of people might not understand what that's about. What's the purpose of the organization?
Well, our purpose, first of all, is for emergency preparedness. What we like to do is be able to go out into the public area in any kind of emergency, such as in Hurricane Ida, and provide communication backup to all the systems, whether it's police, fire, anybody that needs assistance with communication. During Hurricane Ida, everything was down for a couple of days. We were able to provide support to the hospital, and from hospital here to St. Anne's in Raceland, transporting people back and forth with information. So, and any other kind of emergency, whether it be something with the river or hurricane or anything like that. Whenever communications is down, we're there to help.
How often do you think nationwide, because this is actually B.E.A.R.S, which on a nationwide basis stands for Broadcast Employees Amateur Radio Society, is a nationwide group, and I think there are several thousand organizations around the country and the world. So how often do they get called on to help out?
They get called often, quite often. Think about when the hurricane went up the East Coast into North Carolina. Hams were there to run interference, not only for communication, but for what we call health and welfare traffic, just to make sure relatives and friends were okay in North Carolina. Out in California during the fires, same thing. Earthquakes, tsunamis. We've had one instance where someone here was worried about some relatives in India, and we were able to provide support that things were okay, and they'd be calling them within a few weeks that everything was down. So just give it some time to get back up. But that's our purpose and our role, just anytime, anywhere here in the parish.
How many operators do we have in this area?
Well, our club members have, we have 15 to 17 members in our club, and they're all available at times. We all take shifts, and we do what we can, and we spread out and give as much support as we can as well.
Now, you had mentioned beforehand there's actually more than 100 people here in Morgan City alone that are qualified to do this.
Morgan City has a history of over 120, 125 hams that are registered with the FCC. Some from way back when Hurricane Ida and some from Hurricane Andrew were needed for communications. Several notable people and just regular people as well all had their ham license at the time.
Mm-hmm. When we're not in an emergency situation, what does the club do?
Well, we participate in weekly nets on what we call 2 meters, which is UHF and VHF. So, and the parish has provided excellent support for our repeaters and anything that we need as well. We also provide, we are in nets across the United States. Tina and I both are part of the Louisiana Traffic Net. We check in weekly, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, and then there's a sideband net we check in. All of those help us continue to sharpen the skills that we have to relay messages back and forth when needed.
Mm-hmm. And we should mention the National Field Day is coming up June 28th and 29th. That's this Saturday and Sunday. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that event in the next half of the show. But for people that are interested in that, what does it take to become a ham radio operator?
Well, in the olden days, you relied on old members to teach you things that you needed to know to pass your test. Today, with the computer, you can get online on Google and type in ham study, and anyone can pick up their license by studying from that website. It's a well-known website. It's been very successful. The test is not very hard. And by the way, you do not need Morse code anymore to be part of that. So that was one of the issues way back then as well. We offer the test. When you're ready, we send off for the test. We get them in. you do it, and we grade them, and they're done.
Cool. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about this. Ham Radio operating in Morgan City. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Voice of the Coast. Welcome back once again to Voice of the Coast. We're talking with Mike Galler, Secretary of B.E.A.R.S, the Bayou Emergency Amateur Radio Society. Their field day is coming up at Larry Dwaron Memorial Park in Stevensville on Saturday and Sunday, June 28th and 29th. Real quick, let's talk about the purpose of that function. What happens at field day?
Okay. We'll take all of our equipment out from home. We have some homemade antennas. We set them up, and we try to make as many contacts on as many different frequencies as we can to prove our worth. And it's a 24-hour event. We'll get sometimes between 700 and 800 contacts. Of course, the weather, everything. There's all kind of situations that we wait to see what we can deal with and then do the best we can with it.
Yeah. So the primary purpose is to show how quickly you can set up somewhere and
establish a communication to anywhere, whether it's Baton Rouge, New Orleans, or out of state.
Okay. And as proof of being able to do that, within a couple of seconds, you set up some equipment for us, and it's actually not set up. We can't, unfortunately, we can't talk to anybody here. But tell us a little bit about some of the equipment we have sitting right here.
This is an old piece of equipment that I've had since I became a ham, and it's still functional today. It runs on tubes. And I think back in the 70s, it cost me around $400. So today's equipment is all solid state. There are no tubes. And they run anywhere between $800 to $1,200, $1,500 a pop, if you want to call it that. So
it's a question of finding frequencies on this, right?
Yeah, well, you dial in the frequency you want, and you're there. And there are other people there, too.
Okay. And the communications devices, obviously, we have our microphones.
Well, yeah, the old-fashioned D104 microphone. This came out back in the 70s as well. That's for people who do a lot of talking to other people around the world. And when I do say around the world, yeah, we talk to other people around the world. It may not be at your beckoning, but sometimes during the day we're on and they're on and we get a chance to talk. A lot of people do it talking-wise. A lot of people still do the old-fashioned. Again, it's a hobby. It's what you want. I do mostly CW, Morse code, and I continue to do that today. For me, it's relaxing and fun.
And people should know English is still considered the
English
universal language
is still
of
the
radio.
best language. Everybody uses it, and it's even, as I said earlier, there's so many different apps that you can use today, and ham radio can go in any direction you want. You can use a computer, you can do digital, you can be as small as you want, you can be as large as you want. Everything is there.
And you've got two of the Morse keys, a older model and a newer model.
Yeah, newer model is what I'll call our little Vibraplex keyer. It goes real fast. It'll help me send Morse code, 25, 30 words a minute. The old-fashioned one, you'll get a cramp every now and then, but it's still workable, and it does the job as well.
And you said you know Morse. How long did it take you to learn Morse code?
Well, I learned Morse code back in the 70s, so it took me about 2 weeks. The club taught us. An old ham named Grant Patton had a class for us, and he started teaching us Morse code. Of course, Grant could read code at 50, 60 words a minute, but we were all newbies, and 5 minutes was smoking for us at the time. So, but it's picked up over the years, and I still have plenty of contacts. We still contact, as I told you earlier, I've contacted Israel, the Ukraine, China, not so much. Japan, we do. We do talk to Russia from time to time. So, and all over the world. And Miss Jackie, one of our members, and founding members of the B.E.A.R.S Club, also talks to a lady at Pitcairn Islands, which is way down in the South Pacific. Yeah. So it's a hobby. It depends on what you want to do with it.
I understand a Morse, if somebody's good enough at Morse, you can recognize by the way the signals are coming in. You might recognize another person individually. They kind of know.
Each person has their unique hand stroke. That's correct. Sometimes you'll get people that you can't even understand because all the letters are run together, and then some that are just spread apart so nice that it's just a nice and easy conversation.
Okay, we're just about to finish up here. The field day is coming up, as we said, Larry Dwarren Park in Stevensville, and I guess it's a great opportunity for you to introduce people to Morse or to ham radio if they're interested.
Yeah, if you're interested in ham radio, stop by on Saturday between 1 and 4, 1 and 5. We're going to be there 24 hours, but and we'll have a couple stations set up. Stop by, we might be able to get you on the air, tell you what we're doing, point you in the right direction. We'd be glad to have you.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Mike.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you again next time on Voice of the Coast. Have a great day.